Welcome, Soumya. Soumya is our alumna from the 2019-2020 batch, and we are so happy to have you chat with us today. I'm really happy to share a bit about Soumya. She's in her first year in KREA University, and she's currently studying core skill courses, but she has a lot of ambitions, and her aim is to pursue environmental studies with minors in economics or psychology. So that's a very interesting combination you have there. Being from the arts background, I can relate to a bit of what you're saying. So, Soumya, I just wanted to start off by asking you, firstly, what role does a school play in a child's life? And how has your schooling, the entire experience of schooling, how has it shaped you as a person?
First of all, my sincere apologies for everyone waiting for my live. I had a network issue here. So, like ma'am introduced me, I'm Soumya. So, phew, actually, I didn't prepare anything because yesterday I had a big assignment due, huge. So, I'll be spontaneous, I guess. So, bear with me, please. Okay, so Muktangan. I can't be more grateful to my parents to send me to Muktangan because all my friends regret not knowing about Muktangan earlier because of its function in terms of academia and alumni networking. My Muktangan journey starts with Show and Tell, a platform where early learners express their creative imagination. Muktangan played a vital role in my learning experience, creating a safe, diverse environment, making me realize my true potential and doing anything like different without hesitation. Muktangan teachers and team ensure overall development of child, encourage us to participate in extracurricular activities done in our classes. They also promote relationships so that passing on knowledge has positive impact beyond the classroom. Muktangan has, I jotted down some points. You can see me that. Muktangan has strong influence on me in establishing a great foundation by active learning, active constructing teaching module, suiting my learning style, showing direction to the spirit I carried from classroom to embracing cultural and individual identity.
That's I think you've shared some amazing points, I would say, especially the fact that you spoke about interpersonal relationships in school, which is something so important for children. We only, sometimes focus on the academics, we focus on subjects, we focus on assignments and assessments, but we don't really talk about how we are building interpersonal relationships in school, whether it's with our teachers or with our peers, and what kind of influence that has on us when we are growing up. So I think that's something that you've shared, which has thrown a lot of light on. It's really important for us to look at even the quality of interpersonal relationships and teacher-child engagement in school, and also what you spoke about application beyond the classroom. I think that is something you would be realizing right now that you're out of school and you're pursuing your higher studies. In school we live in a certain culture, so we get used to the school's culture, but it's only when we come out of school that we understand the real world, and that's when all these skills that you're speaking about plays an important role. So and speaking of skill development, I think for the youth today especially, it's really important that we keep cultivating and developing our skills, because the world is becoming so dynamic. We need skills in our everyday job, and these skills are not constant. They are dynamic. They keep changing as per the needs and demands of the workplace or our education for that matter. So what do the youth require, Soumya, in today's day and age, if we have to talk about skills in particular?
I feel like We all have inherent potential and aptitude that we are unaware of. In contemporary times, parenting, teaching, and technology media have strong influences on us. That is hindering our maturity and the growth for reaching our potential. Newbies are overexposed to unimportant things and underexposed to things, experience they need to have in their real life. Youth development, youth development is a process that prepares us to meet challenges by promoting activities like that can help us socially, ethically, emotionally, physically, and cognitive competencies. Oh, I feel like we should engage in skill learning. We should engage more over socially rather than media platforms. And I hope that transition is positive and will make a better world better place. I also accept the premise that we need little help along the way. We people do need help along the way, and I'm sure that Muktangan will always be there for us.
Definitely. And, the most important thing that you've spoken about here is the fact that the quality of information. So there is so much information overload that we are facing, especially the youth today are facing. There are so many choices. Even if you look at careers, previously, I mean, even a few years ago, the choices in terms of careers were, in that sense, limited, as in people would opt for majorly the common fields. But now there's so much of specializations and super specializations available. It does get a bit challenging for children to decide, what they are good at, and discovering their own potential, discovering their own skill set, and how that fits into the larger scheme of things. And secondly, I think this information overload, like you're saying, a lot of it also uh, deals with the lack of mentoring, right? That the youth today require, like you said, help. We need guidance, we need mentoring to help us select or help, children discover the right career for them, the right education path for them. So I think the mentoring becomes really crucial. And I think with a little bit of mentoring, it will help children discover what they truly want to do. Uh, and I wanted to ask you, now that you're in KREA, you're in your first year. So, what made you choose KREA, firstly? And if you could also explain a little bit about the program so that people who are not aware of KREA would get some information. What made you choose KREA, and what are some of the skills, new skills that you have acquired in KREA, as well as something that you have learned in school that you're now really applying here?
So the reason that drove me to KREA are the sustainable practices and initiative followed here. Like everything here is like eco-friendly, sustainable, totally sustainable. And the admission process was really, really engaging. We had projects to do, we had personal story to write, we had a OKIC where we interacted with someone strange, we had a group discussion, we were later interviewed. That was not kind of interview as well. We had a nice good conversation with our professors, panelists, and the idea of interwoven learning, that is mixing disciplines, like I will do in my second year, that we can choose our favorite, like any kind of combination of disciplines. Like you can take physics with history, physics with chemistry, with literature and all. There's no prerequisites and restrictions to your education. And here the study is based on projects, case study, experimenting, observation, guest lectures, and there is diversity in thoughts, opinions, background. And I understood this is the way classes are done here. And talking about my first year, I'm not pursuing my degree right now because at KREA, first year is the foundation year that exposes us to real life core skills. Like now I am studying scientific reasoning, mathematical reasoning, exploring social and historical, creative expression, data analytics. These are some kind of core skills we are learned in first year. and then that could be applied in our future times. Oh, and what do we have? KREA. Talking about KREA, here education is not restricted to academics. We students have initiated clubs that keeps us engaged in healthy and fun environment at colleges. They are Mudra, that is dance club. Skills club is Sukrita, I don't know how do I spell it. We have skills club, we have dance club, we have literature club, we have Model United Nations club, we have entrepreneurship clubs where we engage ourselves in a college. And we do have CSO, that is career service officers, that gives us vast range of opportunities and internships. We have internships every year. After every year, we are supposed to have an internship that makes us gives us more practical experience of the real world. Muktangan did help me learn some kind of set of skills that could be used in my day-to-day life, and that developed me as student and professional, personal as well. Like, I had a mentor at Muktangan from Lighthouse. There I developed communication skills, creative imagining, critical thinking, writing skills, logical and problem solving skills and all. Questioning and reasoning as well in classrooms.
Thanks a lot, Soumya, for sharing that. I really liked how you spoke about the pedagogy. You spoke about the interconnection between different streams and subjects, which is something I think traditionally growing up, we realized how, in most schools, we would not have that kind of flexibility to mix subjects. We would have very specific subjects to choose from. In college, it did get a little better where we had those combinations. But again, like you said, combining physics with history and history with music, there are so many different options and combinations that you can choose from, which I think is very important because that's when your creativity and critical thinking, like you were saying, you'll get an opportunity to apply it and make meaningful connections between different streams and disciplines. Because when we start working, we realize how interconnected everything is, and you can't really look at all this in isolation. Secondly, the fact that you spoke about the mentorship program and how that practical exposure and engaging in different forms of assignments also, it has really shaped your skills, whether in terms of creativity, critical thinking, analysis, the skills that you shared. I want to know from you a little bit more as to, now that you're learning in KREA, you're studying there, what changes would you like to bring in society through whatever experience you're gaining?
I'm not good at making changes, but the most important aspect that needs to change is the way we relate to each other. Driven by self-serving nature, that is egoistic and all, we disrupt, compete, discriminate and bully each other. This needs to be changed because even in my school days also I was a bit bullied by not my friends, of course, but different people. That needs to be changed. But I guess it should be come from each and every individual within. But I am focusing on a social change, that is on environmental conservation. That's what is the study of crucial for survival. So I believe that no one is small for making a difference. That's why I'm keen to pursue environmental studies. So my change in society would be on different aspect, that is environmental, but I do need a specific change in mentality of people on education system. That is academics should be more of practical than theoretical. And I would recommend people to engage in healthy practices such as volunteering or simple responsibilities towards society for the issues you are concerned and bothered about.
Absolutely. And I think everything begins with something small, right? So these sort of things, like you said, it's important in terms of changing mindsets, which is also the most difficult thing to do. You know, bringing about a change, when we say the first thing we want to do is change mindsets, but that actually becomes the toughest thing to do. And I think that, like you shared rightly, it comes from within. I also wanted to know from you, Soumya, that you spoke about environmental studies and you also spoke about KREA being sustainable. So could you throw a little bit more light on that? Like, if you could share some examples of what it is for people to understand what you're truly meaning.
KREA is situated at a remote area, not fully remote, but it is at a remote area, and this place is full of trees, literally full of trees. We do have snakes at night as well. We have we KREA has a water recycling plant that we use for flushes in the toilets and for planting, watering the plants. We also have sustainable tube lights that uses some, I don't know what it uses, and we have more. Wait. There's a lake. We have a lake inside. That is Kada Lake. I don't know. There's a lake here. We can see different species. We can see different species in a open air theater. There's a butterfly garden as well, where you can see plenty of butterflies roaming. Here is a balance of animals and people living.
And were you always this passionate about environment, or how did this love and I mean, I'm sure the love for environment has always been there in you, but how did that cultivate into something that you're now looking at in terms of a career?
Actually, environmental was something I was bothered about, but I didn't knew that I would pursue a degree and pursue my education job prospects in this field. Like, I was unsure about what to take after my 12th, and I saw a UN video, United Nations, and I thought about this is something I want to do. And then from the school, I got a camp internship kind of thing, that is ISL, Indian Schools of Leadership. There I was exposed to local issues that I had to take initiative to solve. We had campaigns and all. For that, we had a good foundation for creating an impact. So there I found my true potential and I thought of doing something good for the environment. And that drove me to this pursuing skills studies.
That's great. That's great. And I think what's coming out of this is that we really need exposure early on. Like in school itself, when this kind of exposure and these sort of opportunities are provided to children, it helps in shaping their interest, potential, and realizing what path is the right path for them. And it's amazing to see how you've nurtured this love for environment and now you're translating it into something better in terms of getting more knowledge through your courses, and you will again give back to society once you acquire the skills and knowledge. So that's, I think, a very good thing. And you were also speaking about the importance of cultivating relationships, right? I'm coming back to that point where you spoke about it's important to have empathy and no discrimination and acceptance. And that's a segue to my next question. How important is inclusion? And why do you think that we so need it in today's world?
Inclusion ensures people's involvement and empowerment. When people are included, their worth is recognized, respected, and dignified. When people, I jotted down some points on this issue. Actually, I want to share that. When people feel included and heard, they're better able to contribute to group and society without fear of being judged and criticized. It helps us embrace all our differences and connections, our similarities, providing better opportunities for learning. It helps us, okay. Concept of inclusion shows us how to look beyond physical appearance and get to know a person on the inside.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. And do you also feel that you've had experience of inclusion like in school as well, that has shaped your thinking about inclusion?
Of course, the school was fully inclusive. We had an inclusive learning. We had co-ed school where people were not discriminated. But at KREA, the initial days at KREA, I felt that because of some personal reasons, I felt that I'm being not being included and not being heard. Later, when people came here, I got exposure to different people, and then I, I felt heard. That's my personal experience.
Yeah, and I think that it also depends on each person's personal experience, right? Like you have had an experience of studying and learning in an inclusive environment right from, your childhood days. But I'm sure that might not be the case for many children. They might not be coming from cultures and backgrounds that are as inclusive. So definitely that's what I meant. Like once school is over, that culture does have a huge role to play. And once you move out of school and you're in a different environment, then how do you adjust and how do you, empathize more with people who are probably not from the same kind of background and culture as you are? So that's when all these soft skills and interpersonal skills come into play. So how are these experiences shaping you as a person, Soumya? Like on a personal level, professionally, I'm sure you are gaining the kind of inputs that you need. But personally, how have you transformed?
My transformation. I was an extroverted kid in my till my 10th grade because of Muktangan, surely. But when this outbreak was there, the COVID-19 pandemic, I was fully introverted. For 2 years, I didn't spoke to any of my friends, I guess. I was fully introverted that I didn't even spoke to a shopkeeper. I didn't bend down as well. I had a first call from my college. I was studying in Kirti College. I was super scared. I was super nervous that I took my brother to the college for attending my sessions. He waited outside. So uh, then, not gonna lie, I didn't do any workout and all. I developed myself as a person. I was meditating a bit. I was listening to some positive affirmations. I did research. Even if I was sitting at home, I didn't waste my time anyways. I researched many skills. Like I will do share the skills with you. Some platforms that can offer you skill-based courses that are Future Learn, edX, Harvard do have some free online courses on the Harvard platform. I did some United Nations courses from UNICEF, UNEP, UNDP, and UNEP, WHO as well. One of the most important thing is I attended Antarang's Career Ready program. I'm sure people from our college know that Antarang Career Ready program. That point was my career turning point because I was fully introverted and then I spoke to people with different opinions, different career aspirations. I had a mentor there also. I had a facilitator who shaped our thoughts about career. She gave us career guidance. I'll urge for you. I'll urge for everyone to like take a step to apply for Antarang Career Ready program if we do have it available. I will encourage people to attend the Career Ready program because people were there who didn't attend it. It was just 2 months program that shaped us and made us engage in creative projects and communicating people.
That's great. And I think that the pandemic definitely was a challenging time. We are noticing a lot of shifts in people's personalities and their natures and how they're looking at things post the pandemic, because that period was very very challenging, very difficult emotionally and mentally, and I think that the fact that you've tried your best to cope with the pandemic and cope with being at home, especially like you said, you've been an extroverted person, so staying at home 24/7 with so much of isolation would have been extremely tough on you. But you channelizing that problem into an opportunity to learn and develop is something that all of us need to learn from you, I think, because it's very easy to get bogged down by the situation, but then looking at it from a positive lens and focusing on what can be done is something that we really need to learn. And I think that I also wanted your opinion and your views on girls' education in particular. Uh, like, your own personal journey you've been speaking about, but what do you think it is that we need specifically from that standpoint in the education system, if you had to share something?
I feel that I'm privileged to have a good education equally with my friends, male friends and my female friends. But some people are underprivileged as well. Gender equality in education benefits every child. Barriers for girls' education are poverty, gender bias and violence, improper sanitation facilities in schools. When you have access to education, you develop knowledge, confidence, life skills as professional and person. And I think Muktangan is the biggest initiative that empowers women and girl education. So I can't draw any points on girl education because I have never have been that experience. Like people speak from their personal experience, right? I feel I'm privileged to have this education, but there are people who are underprivileged, and that's the course we are doing. I told you, like I said, I'm having an exploring social and historical course. We are we are seeing case studies where many people are where many girl students are not having in proper education. That should be changed, but like I thrive for change. I would.
Yeah, of course. And I think there are lots of factors involved in, uh, especially the access to education. When it comes to girls' education, there are so many different layers and so many factors that either, like you said, make it easier in terms of access or completely prevent girls from accessing school. Um, and I do feel that with more and more youngsters like you coming out and talking about it and talking about the different ways in which you can create an impact, it should gradually and slowly change people's mindsets when it comes to education. What are your goals going forward now, Soumya? Like, this is just your first year. I'm sure you're still taking in all the information that you're receiving, but have you really thought about what you want to do going forward?
Yes. Think coming when it comes to my career aspiration, I think of a time frame maybe 6 to 7 years from now. I'll pursue my masters as well. I don't know in which disciplines, I don't know yet. But with all the skills I currently have, I want to be exposed to new broad set of skills that would develop me as professional. And I currently aim to be part of highly collaborative environment and organizations working for social cause, that is United Nations. I I want to work at United Nations Environmental Program. For that, I'll I'm working on it. Currently, I'm working on it. And I have a personal goal that is not very personal, that is professional as well, career based, that I want to attend some exchange programs and I want to do some internships and I need help from Muktangan for that for sure. I need guidance for that. Like I was unable to do so.
Surely, I'm sure that Muktangan will be more than happy to give you whatever guidance that you require in selection of the courses and exploring opportunities. And I think that, environment has become such a very crucial topic of discussion. And to learn and understand how you are in your own way trying to address these problems is really, really amazing. And I'm sure it's inspiring a lot of people who are listening to you today. So thanks for sharing about that. And I wanted to also ask you finally, what message do you have for the youth? It could be anything, professional, personal, anything. But what message do you have for the youth of today?
I don't think so. I'm the better person to give message to my friends and all. Whoever is listening. Okay, my friend is listening. Okay, I'll tell. Uh, don't compare yourselves with other. You are unique in your ways. Every flower is different in their own ways. Every person has different skills and all. Don't compare yourselves. Literally telling, don't compare yourselves. And focus a bit on study. Like a bit on studies. Like extracurriculum is important, but study is also important as well at equal aspects. And engage in healthy practices rather than wasting all day long on social media networks and all. Start searching for opportunities that can boost your CVs and all. You can get career opportunities as well.
Absolutely. And I think you've spoken about inclusion in a very nice way, that each person's unique and we need to focus on honing our own skills and working in collaboration with others. I think this kind of collaborative culture is what we need today, than the usual competitive, culture. If we look at healthy competition is different, but if we uh, try and look at things in a more collaborative lens and learn from each other's skills and learn from each other, that would really help us. And thanks a lot for talking to us, Soumya. You've spoken about so many things in such a short time, and you've really consented to meet us and have this chat with us. So thanks a lot for joining us, and thanks a lot to everybody who's joined this Insta Live today. And we again apologize for the technical issue that we were facing in the beginning. But thanks for sticking on and listening to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Muktangan, and all my colleagues, friends, and all my teachers and Muktangan team. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Soumya.
May I end this?